lot of buying right now. Institutional investors are stocking up. Okay, no surprise. Look at that jump. Look at that jump. This is from Crypto Quant, institutional fund accumulation trends. Well, that looks like we definitely broke out of this downtrend of institutions coming into the space. Okay, that's a massive reversal right there. And why? Because of all the ETF filings, right? We have so many that's pending, and there are so many that believe that this time around, there's a really, really, really good chance, okay? Because we have futures-based ETF, we have futures leveraged ETF. There's no good reason why we shouldn't have a spot Bitcoin ETF, okay? And here's the thing. Grayscale is also in a lawsuit with SEC over this. So SEC is already facing pressure on this. And really, Gary, can you really, I don't know, can he really deny this any further? It's kind of ridiculous at this point. Speaking of Gary Gensler, there were rumors this weekend, and I knew it was kind of fake, but I don't know. People wanted to believe it. And maybe it's still true, but not right now. There were people on Twitter spreading rumors that Gary Gensler is leaving. Somehow he was caught doing something and he's going to resign. Okay? And since then, SEC have responded to email requests on whether or not this is true, and they answer nope. That's all they did. So I don't know. I don't think that he is resigning. Not right now. Maybe later, unless there is really some damning news that comes out, some investigation that comes out, or something. But right now, he still has his job. Bitcoin is no longer correlated to U.S. stocks, crypto, according to sources. This is good, but I argue this is short term. You see this happen a lot. You see Bitcoin kind of decouple away from S&P and NASDAQ, and then sometimes you see it correlate, right? And right now, I think this is happening because of a couple things. This is actually looking at ETH versus a lot of these other indexes. So you look at like gold, DXY, S&P, and then you have ETH. And you can see ETH is slowly climbing, but kind of not correlated with these other indexes. And that's because, you know what? ETH is correlated to Bitcoin. I don't know why they're using ETH and not Bitcoin, but if you show Bitcoin, it's probably just a continue upwards trend. Bitcoin is just a different animal. It's a different beast, right? And of course, it went through some FUD, and now there's optimism, but ultimately, okay, why Bitcoin is going to continue to decouple because it's getting bigger, okay? The volume is climbing, fundamentals are getting better, but ultimately because we're really just mimicking previous cycles. This is where we are. It's a little bit hard to see, but the black line is where we are, the current cycle, and then you overlap that on top of some of these previous cycles, and you can see more or less we have done the same thing. This is right at the point when in 2017 and 2013, when Bitcoin started its upward trend. This may be a big reason why Bitcoin has decoupled away from markets, because we are finally at that point where it is about to run. That's why we have Bitcoin, okay? And that's why so many people are turning to Bitcoin because of these reasons, because they want to opt out. And good thing is there's more excitement these days. Crypto trading volume is rising for the first time in 3 months. So since, Q1, we really didn't have a whole lot of spot volume. Okay, now it's coming back because of ETF, all the optimism over ETF and Blackrock and everything else. Keep in mind, we're coming off a period when it was scary once again. Coinbase sued, Binance sued, A lot of these exchanges were sued. Kraken was also sued. KuCoin was sued. All these exchanges were sued. So we're coming off a very scary, probably couple months. And then that kind of all went away because of ETF optimism. And I think this is going to happen this year. We will get some spot Bitcoin ETFs. Okay, but we're still early. Even though volume is rising for the first time in 3 months, if you compare our volume versus even 2022, we're so far off. We're recovering. We have entered a new cycle already. We're just not there yet. It's saying all the right things right now, including how Bitcoin can revolutionize finance. And he said more than that. We do believe, to quote, that if we can create more tokenization of assets and securities, that's what Bitcoin is. It can revolutionize finance. Okay? He continues on and says, instead of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the erroneous problems of any one country or the devaluation of your currency, whatever country you're in, let's be clear, Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on any one currency, so it could represent an asset that people can play as an alternative. Basically saying more good things, that Bitcoin is not just a US thing, international, and rather than invest in gold, you should invest in Bitcoin. That's very bullish. Very bullish from the CEO of the largest asset manager on the planet. And of course, this may be the reason why Blackrock has filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF. What about this 125,000? Which doesn't seem like it's very likely right now since we're at 30,000, right? But things move very quickly in Bitcoin. Or in crypto, I should say. But with Bitcoin too. But mostly in crypto. A lot of you guys know when things move, when money comes in and there's short squeezes, things move really quickly. So we still have about a year and a half. And who knows? Because after the halving event, that's when things start moving really quickly. And if we are to end at 200, 250,000, 300,000 by the end of 2025, well, who's to say we can't be at 125,000 by the end of 2024? But are there any factual things to back this up other than hope? Well, according to Matrix Port, they do. Basically, according to Matrix Port, to quote, on June 22nd, which was 2 weeks ago, Bitcoin made a new one-year high, making the first time in a year. This signal has historically indicated the end of bear markets and the start of a new crypto bull market. What did I say? I said that too. We are definitely out of crypto winter. We have started a new bull market. But what about Bitcoin, AI? What does that have to do with anything? Arthur Hayes, the co-founder of BitMEX. A lot of people follow Arthur Hayes for his opinions. He's putting two and two together. He makes the argument that AI, because of the exponential growth, what better currency to pair it up with? Of course, a digital asset like Bitcoin. The future is not going to be settled in cash, okay? Not going to be utilizing fiat. It's still too analog. You got to go with something digital, purely decentralized, something that can complement AI. And he's making this argument that, hey, you have the rising trend growth of AI, which is exponential, and we'll show you how exponential it is. And you pair that with Bitcoin, of course, it's going to lift Bitcoin up as well. And he's arguing, depending on how hot AI gets, that's how hot Bitcoin is going to get, how much FOMO will be driven in. So if you look at this, you look at the 8x, 23x, and 172x multiplier, okay, and you look at and you just extrapolate the price. Well, Bitcoin could be $760,000. All right, and then as for short-term movement, we know we're going sideways. Okay, consolidating. There's no doubt we are consolidating, despite yesterday's market drop, Bitcoin is still holding strong, not going anywhere. Bitcoin right now seems like has decoupled away from U.S. markets, right? But here's another channel, another view of things. But as we're recovering from bottom, right, we tend to hit these points before we start rallying up, before we hit the next halving event, and then start really rallying. But this next point, according to this trader, around 42,000. Some people think it's conservative, around 36,000, 40,000. Some people think it could be as high as 50 or 60,000. I've seen predictions predicting that Bitcoin will actually form a new high by the end of the year. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think we will be heading up to in the 40s